fear, misuse of power, and repetition of negative acts that are going against people. Those are some of the essential points of what bullying is.
Isn't there a danger that by bringing this to the attention of employees, that people who might otherwise not think that they're being bullied suddenly think that they are?
When people are being bullied, they go through a lot of serious problems in their lives. Usually, if somebody's getting bullied, what they want to happen is they want the bullying to stop. They don't want revenge. They don't want just to have some kind of excuse to claim compensation from a company. They want the bullying to stop. If a company has an anti-bullying ethos, an anti-bullying policy within that organisation, they will be able to spot what is true bullying and what is non-bullying. And it's only right that if bullying has happened, people find a way for that bullying to stop, and if it doesn't stop, if it affects their lives over a long period of time, they should be able to find some kind of recompense or some kind of compensation to help them deal with some of the effects that they're feeling, which are going to be very negative effects, not only to their job prospects, but also to their own personal health as well, which can lead to bad effects not only in our work lives, in our social lives, but in our family lives as well.
But isn't it the case that perhaps what we perceive as bullying today in the 21st century, a few decades ago would have been seen purely as banter or as joking around? Isn't that a problem with defining things that are changing from year to year?
Everything changes, yes. There was a time when a woman could walk in the office, have her bottom slapped, pinched by a male employee, and that would be acceptable behaviour in the office. As we get more and more recognition of employees' rights, of more of equality in the workplace, we get to see that certain behaviours aren't right, aren't nice, aren't ways that we would like people to behave towards us, just as we shouldn't behave towards other people. Just because something was acceptable 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, doesn't mean it's right.
Okay, and is the onus on the employee, if he or she feels that they're being bullied, to bring it to the attention of the employer, or is it more on the employer to notice it and do something about it?
It's a very good question. Personally, I think that the onus is on everybody. The onus, if you want an anti-bullying workplace, the onus is on, first of all, management to create an anti-bullying ethos, what I call a whole office approach to dealing with bullying. If a manager, a supervisor can live a respectful anti-bullying ethos, then employees are much more likely to follow in their footsteps. But that's not to say that individuals shouldn't take some kind of responsibility either.
You had about 200 people here today. Do you think that the message got through to them?
We had some great questions after the session. I think a lot of what we talked about did get through to people. This is not the first time that we've been here, so what we were doing today was a slightly different style than we normally work, but it was more about reinforcing a lot of what we talked about before and alleviating, I think, some of the fears that some people, some of the managers, supervisors had about the legislation. But what we've tried to get across is that you don't need to be scared of the anti-bullying legislation in Gibraltar. I think what's key is using that legislation as a way to help start an anti-bullying ethos in your organisation.